Hi friends, it is Johnny back with another video, and today it is time for another fever dream. Power Rangers. Today's generations, we've all grown up with them. We know of them. But did you know there are a lot of Power Ranger adjacent shows very much transforming into these superhero-esque people to fight monsters of the week? One such Power Ranger-esque show is called Big Bad Beetleborgs. The name alone is a lot, let's be real here, okay? But it was a show that ran for, I believe, like 48 episodes? And looking it up, I read something about a movie, so there might have been a movie or two involved there somewhere along the lines. Either way, it ran for a lot longer than you would think a show like this would run for. People of that generation, if this was like your favorite show back in the day, or like you just used to watch it and you remember it very well, leave a comment down below. Let me know like why it was your favorite, what made you fall in love with it. I don't feel like I have to explain this show because the intro does it for me. So let's just roll my intro. Now, before we get into the show, I need to play you the intro, okay? Because I always hear about how 90s shows, like the intro songs were always like the absolute best. Today's intros are horrible in comparison and all this kind of stuff. So if that's the case, can someone please explain this train wreck?
Three typical average kids inside a haunted mansion. Just by chance, freed a ghost who made them Beetleborgs. Big bad Beetleborgs. Big bad Beetleborgs. Hey, look now, they're superheroes armed with superpowers. Taken from a comic strip and now they're Beetleborgs. Big bad Beetleborgs. Big bad Beetleborgs.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it explains the premise of the show pretty well, but at what cost? You know what I mean? We start the show at the soon-to-be base of the Big Bad Beetleborgs, where we unfortunately meet the two most annoying characters of the show, Van and Trip, running for their lives. You know, kind of like my ears wish they were able to do after hearing that horrible intro song. Once they run away, we cut to the next day where we meet our three main characters. Drew, the basic boy, because he has literally nothing going for him other than the fact that he has a crush on a girl. That's his whole character, that's it, there's nothing else. He likes comic books, like the other two main characters, and he has a crush on a girl. His sister Jo, the tomboy, can't you tell by her sideways cap? She's not like other girls. She likes sports. She plays softball. Because, you know, girls liking sports was apparently not common in the 90s, you know. Sports are a boy thing. Stay out of boy things, girls. It's icky. And then their friend Roland, the wannabe magician. They all meet up at Roland's family's comic book shop. And surprise, surprise, like I said, they all love comic books. So they met up there to read the new issue of Beetleborgs, their favorite comic. In other words, in this world where they live in, they couldn't even be original there. They literally had to copy the idea of their superheroes that they're going to become from comic books. Like, they couldn't even make up their own superheroes. They're like, we want to be these characters in this comic book. Yay! Like, if I was the creator, I would try to sue them for plagiarism or something, because that's not right. You know what I mean? Like, you put your heart and soul into creating something, only for people to make it their own and be like, I'm this character now. The character you made, it's me now. It's my thing. But anyway, like I said, they met up to read the comic. But more importantly, here's where we meet the best character in the show, Nano. She is my favorite character from what I've seen so far, and she's Roland's grandmother. And frankly, if I could, I would immediately stop watching this horrid show to watch a show about Nano alone, okay? Like, I want to know her story, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know more about her. These kids can go back to whatever daycare they came out of. I want more Nano. This woman literally comes in racing a motorcycle with some biker guy. And she's like, you ain't got shit on me, guy. And he's like, you right, Nano, you right, you cool. And drives off. and she's like, hey kids! But unfortunately I feel like she's having another one of her episodes because she starts like speaking in tongues to these kids as they're like going into the comic shop. Just watch this.
Hey kids, am I the queen of beans or what?
Yeah. You're the best. Hey, cool jacket, Nana.
Yeah, not just anybody can wear a jacket like this. You gotta be down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Nano's here.
Mom? No, busted by Big Daddy-O. Now don't you start on me, Aaron.
I don't know what any of that means. I'm assuming it's 90s slang, but it just sounds like tongues to me at this point. But to be fair, if you speak the way we speak today, 20, 30 years from now, I'm pretty sure people are gonna think we're speaking in tongues too, so it's okay. While in the comic shop, we get to see Roland excited about the Green Hunter AV.
Whoa, check out the Green Hunter AV.
Yeah, what about it, sweetie? Did they change how it looks now? Did it get new rims or something? Why are you so amazed by something you've probably seen a million times in this comic already? Unless they changed something. But if they did, at least say, oh, they added something or they changed something. Don't just be like, wow, look, it's this. Like, yes, it's in every comic, Roland. We've seen it 1,000,001 times, Roland. Every time we see it, can you please just stop like shouting about it? We're in a comic store. Other people are trying to read. And we also see Drew has a crush on this girl that works in the comic shop that can't be more than like 12 years old, which honestly left me just there like, hello, Department of Child Labor Laws? Yeah, listen, I have a comic shop that I need you to check out. Was that normal back then? That this prepubescent child was working in a comic shop? Joe teases Drew, and Drew says this.
Kids, you know, they say the darndest things.
Yeah, kids.
I don't mean to alarm you, Drew, but just so you know, you're all children. It's not just Joe. None of you look like you're over the age of 12. Immediately after that happening, have a daydream about being in the comic book you're reading and saving Heather, the girl that he has a crush on, who is in the comic a damsel in distress. Don't you know what the Cheetah Girl said?
I'd rather rescue myself.
Now, not only is poor Heather here working underage, okay, but she has to be working underage while being the object of some guy's creepy fantasies and being harassed by Trip and Van because Trip has a crush on her as well. Like, this girl does not deserve any of this, honestly. She's working underage, probably getting paid less than minimum wage. She probably has some, like, American Idol sob story, like, she's trying to save up for the dialysis that her grandmother needs or some shit, you know what I mean? All while being harassed at work by two boys whose personalities are Human Toast and My Daddy Has Money. Honestly, why are those your personalities? I mean, like, there has to be something there. Other than me like Heather, me like comics, that's it. And then trips over like, my daddy has money. Okay, your daddy has money. You ain't shit. And the audio on the show had to be really bad because you can clearly hear the difference when they're talking in scene and when ADR kicks in. And don't get me wrong, a lot of shows have ADR. For those of you that don't know, it's whenever they have to like redub over a scene because like the audio was too bad. There might have been like too much wind outside or something went wrong with the mic, so they have to have the actor come back in and just like record their voice. That's ADR basically. And so they had a lot of ADR on this show, okay? Don't get me wrong, a lot of shows and movies do ADR really well. Like for example, The Princess Diaries 1 and 2 both have a lot of ADR, but they feel a little more natural compared to this. Like the audio completely changes in this. So it's super obvious. And honestly, it's really funny to me. Like, again, I like finding things like this because it's so funny. Even though it's not intended to be. Like, you just hear like, oh yeah, no, I like comic books too. And then all of a sudden you'll hear like, correct, Jennifer. I too like comic books. Like, it's a very distinct difference. Of course, the bullies take Drew's comic book and proceed to make fun of our three soon-to-be heroes for liking said comic book, you know, the Beetleborgs. The bullies then proceed to dare the kids to go to the Ookie Spooky house, which we find out...
Everyone knows it's haunted.
Does everybody know it's haunted? Because I sure as hell didn't, not from what I saw so far. Seeing the hand grab Trip's like primitive-ass cell phone, I just assumed there was a squatter in the house looking for things to sell. And I saw the cell phone, I was like, ooh, cell phone. This will fetch me a pretty penny. I don't know why my squatter sounds like he's from the 1800s, will fetch me a pretty penny. Ha ha! How about thee? The bullies leave, and the three soon-to-be heroes start talking about the dare.
Do the words ghosts, monsters, and vampires mean anything at all to you?
Sounds like a party to me.
First of all, I'm pretty sure vampires fall under the monster category. I could be wrong, but it just kind of feels like you wanted to name 3 things and you failed at it. It's kind of like being like, what do you want in your drink? Do you want sugar? Do you want ice? Or do you want frozen water? Like, sir, frozen water and ice are the same thing. And Joe, sweetie, calm down. You're like, what, 7? You still have trouble tying your shoes, okay? What in the high holy hell are you gonna do if monsters attack you that it sounds like a party to you? After that, the kids meet up with the bullies at the Ookie Spooky house for the dare. And from here on out, it feels like the cameraman is either filming from a boat or like from the set of a music video from the 90s, because the rocking does not stop. Like, I feel nauseous looking at this point. The kids separate from the bullies, and the bullies are too busy talking and planning to scare the other kids to realize that Frankenstein's monster is literally walking past them like 2 feet behind them. And honestly, I would have noticed that. Not only is he tall as all hell, but also, like, am I the only person that has like that spidey sense that like knows when someone walks into a room or is like walking close to them, like the air pressure around them changes or something? Is that just me? But anyway, Jo separates from the other two and finds a mummy that she accidentally disrespects, as one does. So of course, the mummy threatens her. And of course, instead of being horrified that this mummy just moved and spoke to her, her first reaction is,
Ew, gross.
Then she finally slowly registers her situation and silently jogs away from the monster, before eventually starting to scream bloody murder. You know, just after she gets some distance from the monster. I guess she wanted to get some distance before she's like, okay, it's safe to scream now. But like, what happened, Joe? I thought monsters sounded like a party to you, so why are you running? Why are you running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Show me what you're made of, come on. They sounded like a party to you, right? You were gonna beat them up or something? And also, why are you running so cartoonishly? Look, she's running with like jazz hands up. Her brother and Roland hear the screams and accidentally bump into the mummy as well, and the 3 kids start running together. And here's where we bump into the scariest thing so far, a real tarantula crawling up Roland's leg. No thank you. I'm not even gonna show that part because frankly, I don't want to stare at the tarantula longer than need be, but just trust me, if that happened to me, I wouldn't be able to sleep for like a week, okay? I wouldn't feel clean. Frankenstein's monster, aka Frankenbeans, picks up the spider and proceeds to eat it, where we get this great reaction shot from Joe. The monsters start to creep in on the kids, who accidentally find a secret passage that lead to a spinning bookcase. Now you don't see this, but it looks like the secret bookcase knocked out Roland and Joe, because when Drew gets to the secret bookcase, all we see is him stuck to it, spinning around rapidly, while you see Drew and Joe's unconscious bodies just on the floor. And you're just like, what happened to them? Was it the bookcase? You find out soon because the spinning stops and Drew gets launched forward right about where the other two are, and they all 3 get up at the same time, unfazed by what just happened, and start to explore the room that they're in, which of course is where they find an organ that for some reason they're all really excited about. They're all like, whoa, check that out. Awesome! Like, calm down, it's an organ. The bullies run out of the house after seeing a vampire, and of course the 3 main kids hear them run out. And Joe says this.
I don't know about you, man, but I'm out of here.
Ha, chickens.
Like, you know, she wasn't just running for her life or something. Like, cowards. I'm like, you were just screaming bloody murder, running around this house like a chicken without a head. You were even freaked out about the spider on your friend's leg, who was like 12 feet away from you. So I don't want to hear it about them being cowardly. The only reason you're in here and not outside is because you went the wrong way and you got circled by monsters. So be grateful that you found the secret compartment, because if not, you were going to get got by them too. She leans on the organ, which makes noise, and it frees the Pipettes, which honestly are a terrible name. And then, of course, the most unholy thing of this entire ordeal, Flabber. Now, Flabber's what you get when Jim Carrey's The Mask has a baby with like Austin Butler's Elvis, and that baby becomes a ghost. That is honestly the best way I could describe him. Now, after seeing all those like monsters and everything, and witnessing this unholy demon clown, Joe just says,
That's it. I've had it. I'm out of here.
very casually. No hint of fear in her words whatsoever. And can we just take a moment to look at this nightmare fuel, please?
Whoa, look out!
Don't leave.
What the hell is that? What is that? What honestly is that? And if you can't tell, I don't like clowns. I'm pretty sure I made that very clear in the video where I learned how to be a clown. I might link that video down below, I don't know. Flabber just bats his eyes at Roland, and Roland faints. Honestly, I would too. But to be fair, I feel like that's the amount of power that homophobes think we have. Like, we just gotta bat our eyes at somebody, and they're like, oh! And they faint. Flabber apparently has a little bit of an identity crisis after being freed, but deep down inside, we can still see that he's apparently a bit misogynistic, because he regularly tells the Pipettes to, like, be quiet. Even after they, like, snapped him out of the identity crisis, just watch.
Calm down, girl. You're cramping my style.
Pipe down, will ya? West you.
Flabber then tells the kids that they get a wish for freeing him, because apparently I guess he runs by genie logic, but just one wish, not 3. After they run through some ideas, they decide to have him turn them into Beetleborgs. And we get to see Roland pretend not to know where Flabber is, even though Flabber hasn't moved, and is like directly in front of them. Watch.
Okay, we want to be Beetleborgs.
Like, what was that? Just how do you miss a big blue ghost clown thing? How? He's the only vibrant thing there. They show him the comic book of the Beetleborgs, and he turns them into the rats on the cover. And honestly, that could have been the end of it. That really could have been the end of it. He could have fed them to like a snake or a cat or something, and he would have been both physically free from the organ and problem-free from the kids to go run amok around the world doing whatever ghost clowns do. He then fixes the mistake and turns them into actual Beetleborgs, who are at least like 2 feet taller than all the kids. And I'm like, how did they grow like that? How does that process work? Does it hurt them? Is it like a rapid puberty real fast and then they revert back to their normal size? I want to know the details of that. Because the same thing happened to the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers Turbo. I just want to know how it works. Like, I want to know, like, if I transform into a Power Ranger or a Beetleborg, will I become a twink? And will I get to be the extra inch I need to be, like, 6 foot? Just questions I have, you know? But like I said, he turned them into the Beetleborgs. However, again, there was a mistake. They were stuck in the comic book, which again, could have been the end of it. He could have just thrown the comic book in the fire, and he would have finally been free.
Is free.
But he frees them from the comic. The monsters then come into this cramped-ass room where the kids start to beat them within an inch of their afterlife and humiliate them. Things like, you know, pulling down the vampire's pants to show his underwear and making fun of his lack of tan. And can I just say that A, he can't get a tan. He's a vampire, so sun would kill him. Unless, of course, he's one of the sparkly Twilight vampires, in which case he would just have the skin of a killer, also known as a disco ball. And B, the creators of the show had a strange fixation on pantsing people. Because I watched like 4 episodes of this to try to debate like which episode I wanted to do the fever dream on. And within those 4 episodes, I saw someone get pantsed at least 5 times. 5 different times in 4 episodes. This is a 48 episode series and probably a couple of movies. How many more times do people get pantsed throughout this series that in 4 episodes, it happened 5 different times? And yes, I only watched 4 episodes because that is all that my brain could tolerate. So yes, like I said, the kids were horribly beating up on the monsters, all while Flabber was cheering and laughing, until he got bored and told the kids,
Don't hurt them, kids. They're harmless, really.
After that, we see things escape from the comic book. So in freeing the kids, he also accidentally freed all the major villains from it. Oopsie poopsies. I genuinely don't feel like learning the villains' names, so I'm just gonna call her and her crew, because she's in all red and has a generic Russian accent. Somehow, Katya's accent is much more believable than this woman's accent is, okay? Put it like that. But even then, with the bad Russian accent and Katya's being better, I'm still gonna call her Katya, because she just gives off that vibe. We also learned that they can pull out other monsters from the comic book, because apparently that's something that the villains have the ability to do now. Why not? Meanwhile, Flabber pulls a YouTuber apology by infantilizing themselves, by pouting and whining, and calling what he did a boo-boo.
I think I made a boo-boo.
And then, even more relevant, like more recently, decides to sing a song about it's not cool to be mean and be upset at him for, again, freeing unholy monsters onto the world.
It's really uncool to be true to a puzzle that's blue.
The bad guys do some sightseeing in an alley that's way more populated than it has any right to be.
Those screams are so much better when you can hear them instead of reading them.
And apparently everyone in town is like absolutely terrified of them. So like, do you think this is some weird Footloose town where instead of no dancing, they have like no Halloween at all? Because if it was me, I would just kind of assume that these were some people in costumes, either filming something for a movie or getting ready for Halloween or something like that. But these people just jump the gun and like, oh my god, monster! Ah! And like run away. Katya realizes that they're stuck in suburbia. And honestly, as somebody that grew up in the Bronx and is now in Florida, girl, same. Katya and her crew then go to the movies? I mean, like, no one even stopped them from going in. Did they buy tickets? Katya steals a man's popcorn and realizes,
Hey, what's going on? The rest of me is three-dimensional. How come my mouth is not?
that's right, her mouth doesn't move, so she can't eat. Yet somehow she still knows that popcorn's delicious.
Real artificial butter flavors. Can't believe it. Hand it.
They then go and meet up with their boss in the world's tiniest cemetery. And I mean that literally. This place is like 20 foot by 20 foot. That has to be as big as the cemetery is. They start in a corner, take like 6 steps one way, and they're already at the other end of the cemetery. And can I just say that their boss looks like a combination of Kafagrigus, the Pokemon, and an angel that you would fight in Bayonetta. Like, it looks like those two had a baby and that is their boss. Somehow, even though they were brought to life from the comic books, they know about Flabber and they have like a vendetta against him. Okay. The bad guys go to attack the Beetleborgs at the spooky house. However, the kids don't know how to transform by themselves. So Flabber tells them,
All you gotta do is whistle. You know, pucker up and blow.
ew. I don't know why, that just made me feel icky. Once transformed, they go into a pretty empty but cramped hallway, where the kids once again show us how blind they are by not seeing the bad guys all of like 8 feet in front of them. And don't get me wrong, I can relate, but that's why I'm getting new glasses. So I can see. We get to see the great physical acting by the Beetleborgs.
Alright! Okay, Noxus, you wanna play tag? Come on, come and get me! You gotta do better than that!
Oh, I hate that brat!
Come on! Try again!
Katya's crew get defeated, proving that they're
Worthless.
and the kids now find out that they have superpowers. Roland has super speed, Joe has super strength, and Drew has...
I have brain power!
No, it's called telekinesis. Brain power is what this show is draining from me. We again see more of the kids' great physical acting.
Aw, man! You always get all the luck! Ah, super strength!
Did you see that? I've got supersonic speed.
And then we return to normal life, where if you do the math, it has to have been at least a day, because all that took place later in the afternoon, going into the nighttime, when they got chased by all the monsters, And then when the monsters got freed from the comic book, it was daytime again, and they fought all of them and defeated them, so it has to be at least the next day. And somehow Nano's chili's finally ready. Now, I don't eat chili, okay? Is it normal for it to take that long to cook? Like, it was already cooking when she got back from her motorcycle race. So is that normal? Does it take a long time to cook chili? I'm just genuinely curious, because like I said, I don't eat chili, so I don't know. We see the bullies be super campy by making their own entrance, by timing the end of a song perfectly. Like, it literally ends as they walk out the car.
Hey, Heather.
And then they do this weird rap thing. I don't know what that's about.
We be bad and we be rad. You better run home before your mama gets mad. Slap me 5, I slap you 10. Gonna burn those dorks again and again.
Then Drew uses his
Brain power.
to dump a bucket of water that Roland's father was using to clean the awning of the store on the bullies. Yet somehow, none of the normal people saw this floating bucket, nor did they even question how this heavy bucket knocked itself over to dump all the water on these kids. There was enough water to like make that bucket at least 7 pounds. And they're just like, that's normal to me. And then we end with everybody laughing at the bullies. A happy ending? Just because they're bullies, don't laugh at their pain too. That makes you no better than the bully, honestly. But they also kind of deserve it, so I'm on both sides. I'm on both sides. On one hand, I'm like, it's wrong to make fun of somebody even if they're bullies. On the other hand, I'm like, they deserve it. Good. But yes, that is the end of the big bad Beetleborgs. What did you think? I have no interest in watching any more of this show. It was withering my brain. There's a few shows that I've done this on that I'm like, I want to watch more, and I have watched more. This isn't one of those. This, like, don't get me wrong, I get it's made for kids, but it's just so much. It's just, I can only tolerate but so much bad acting. And I've seen a lot of good, like, children actors. These kids weren't them. I don't know if they've gone on to do other things. I gotta check. And again, I just want to know more of Nano's story. I don't care about these kids. Nano should have been the Beetleborg. Katya and her crew wouldn't have stood a chance. But even though the show was bad, I had a lot of fun doing this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and bing bong the ding dong down below to be alerted when I make a new video. And why not check out some of my other stuff? I have some more Fever Dreams, some Florida Men, some story time, some Let's Plays, and some randomness. I have a little something for everybody. And while you're at it, why not share one of your favorite videos of mine with your friends? We can always use more friends on the channel. And I've seen that we have grown a bit. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. I've passed 200 subscribers recently. And honestly, I didn't think that was going to happen. I kind of set that for myself as a goal for the end of the year, not really expecting to be anywhere near that because literally just a couple of weeks ago, I was 75 people away from 200. And now here I am, past 200. So it's a little shocking to me. Thank you all to everybody that's been here for a while. Thank you all to all the new people. I'm very appreciative and I can't wait to see where we go on this channel with all of you. But yes. Until next time, bye! Big bad Beetleborgs, big bad Beetleborgs. I feel like that's gonna be in my head for a while, and I hate it.